Hey everyone, hope you're doing good. It's Yubi here with another TouchDesigner tutorial. This tutorial, we're gonna build this system that generate those nice organic shapes, organic growth. The system is basically based on the previous tutorial, if I believe, or one of my other tutorials, which I basically manipulate the z-axis. As you can see, I'm manipulating the z-axis of grid of points. I'm basically building a texture and with a reorder inputting this texture to the z-axis. So I've played around with some feedback loops to build the system, and I came up with this nice organic shape. There's really nice possibilities to play around with the feedback loop, uh, as you can see now. Um, and yeah, also you can use pixelate, which makes a nice look. So yeah, a lot of possibilities, and I will show you everything as we build it from scratch. Also this one varies the depth of the visual. So we will build it from scratch, and you will see every trick that I came up with. And of course, you always welcome to play around and make some changes inside the feedback loop or whatever in the render. Anyway, let's delete everything and start building it from scratch. I will leave this panel uh, to see what I'm doing. So just you can split it here and choose panel. Alright, so let's begin by inserting the constant chop. Oops, sorry. Oh, what's happening today? Cool. So in the constant chop, let's add a count, which will be the number of particles or pixels. In the let's also add a size channel for the size of the boxes that we will instance. Let's make it something like this. All right, now let's start by building the grid of points with ramp. Actually, two ramps. One is vertical, one is horizontal, and we can select both and uh, change the resolution, make them 32-bit mono. Actually, I can open this up so I can have it later. Whoops. Yeah. Okay. And we gonna put a reorder and put the first ramp and the second ramp. And here we need to change it to input 2 and make it 32-bit RGBA. So now we have our grid of point, which is somehow looking not good. Oh, because of the z-axis. So just for now, let's change it here to 0. Great. So we have our grid of points, and what I want to do is to add a math here and change the range from 0 to 1 to -1 to 1, so the grid will be centered like this. And don't mind the z-axis because we will change it later. Cool. After the math, let's add point transform, which we will use later, and a null. Let's name the null pose. Give it a color. Okay, so let's actually now render this grid. So in the palette you can find the point clouds and the point render. Cool. We can put the position inside the first input of the positions, and now we can drag this point render into this panel here, and we can see our grid. But we're gonna change a few things here. First, I want the resolution to be a square, and also the layout of this container, I want it to be square, so I will put the same resolution. And you can also like reference it like this, and then copy it, and instead of W here, press H, so it will change according to your accordingly to your solution. Okay, so now we have our grid, and we can also adjust it a bit. Something like this. So let's change a few things into our render. We want we don't need a line material, and let's go inside the geo and put a box sub. After the box sub, let's put the transform and reference the size here. Great. And add a null and press the display and render. Great, so now we have our grid again, but it's like gray, so we can put some material. I use the PBR material and power material. Now we need a light for this, so let's put a light, and in the light we can add the shadows, soft shadows. I've changed the light size to 0.1, 0.1, the filter samples to 32, and search steps to also 32, and the shadow resolution I increased it a bit. It really depends on your computer, so be aware. If you crank it up, it might slower the simulation. In the PBR we can drop the metallic to 0. Okay, so we have our grid. What else I want to do is to make the rotation of the boxes according to the uh, change in position. So to do that, we uh, connect a slope to our position, and here you change it to horizontal red, horizontal green, and horizontal blue. Sorry, not vertical blue, horizontal. The 0 point should be 0, and to the slope you can connect a noise to randomize it slightly. So the offset to 0, monochrome off. The amplitude should be 0.03. The exponent is 2, and the period to 0. After this, we can connect a null and call it road 2. Okay, now let's reference it in the instancing second tab in the rotation to vector and choose R, G, and P. So now you can see our boxes are slightly uh, rotated. If we turn off this noise, they will be very flat and you couldn't really see them. You will see later how it affects the look. Let's also adjust a bit the camera. Alright. Yeah, actually, it can be 0. Now, what I want to do is start building the texture that we will modulate the z-axis with. So let's start with the noise, and let's reference the resolution. Make the noise 32-bit float RGBA, and let's change a few parameters. So the type should be Berlin 40. This is what I use for the original sketch. The period goes to 2, harmonic 0, offset to 0, and amplitude to 2, and it will stay monochrome. And we can also animate it in the z-axis. So lapse time dot seconds. Let's multiply by 0.1. So we've got our noise. After the noise, let's add a null. And after the null, add another noise. This time it will be random. And let's for now make the offset and amplitude 0. Add a composite after the null and add the noise, and the operation should stay multiply. And you can see if we increase this noise, so there's much more detail, which will make it nicer. Okay, next we input a feedback top and a level. Okay, in the level, in the boss tab, make the opacity 0.0055. I believe this is what I did. Yes, and the brightness to 0.5. You can also change those numbers later to see how it affects and add an over and connect the level and the feedback. After the over, let's add a display stop, and in displays change the vertical source to green, the displays weight to 0.1 and 0.1, and the extend to mirror. Okay, now drag the displays into the feedback so they are connected, and let's add a keyboard in chop so we can reset the feedback. Great. So now basically nothing really happens, as you can see, but we are not finished yet, so let's add a select and select the feedback. After the select, let's add a blur and a level and connect the composite like that and change the operation to difference. After the composite, let's add a slope and in the slope change the green to vertical luminance and the blue to 0, and you can crank the strength up to 4. After the slope, add a blur and change it here to pre-shrink should be 2 and filter size should be 6. And now connect the blur into the second input of the displays, and we press 1 to reset, and also nothing really happens until we play with this blur. So we can also color this in let's say yellow, and when we start changing, and you can see here in the composite that our patterns are starting to build nicely. So what I want to do is to select this composite, and let's select all of this and make it a bit down, and add a select up and just select this composite and connect it into the reorder. Okay, now in the reorder we need to change the output blue to be blue and input 3. So you can see now that we have our growth, but we can change a bit the blur here to have it be more stable. Oops. Yeah, when I reset, it's jumping up to like it gets closer to the camera, so we will need to adjust it a bit here. Something like this, maybe. Yeah, looks nice. Um, let's increase here the filter size. Okay, so let's now add some stuff to control the look of this. For example, after this select, we can actually color it in blue, and after this select, we can add level, and in the range, we can lower the out high, so it will make it much more smooth. Great. Let's play around with the render network to make it look nicer. So we can add a bloom and connect it into the render. In the bloom, the glue level to 0, the ramp glue level to 0, the blur size to 6, I believe, and iteration 2, threshold to 0 also. Sorry about that. This looks nice. We can play with the light, of course, to have it more, like to find a nice angle that the shadows will look nice. Cool. Something like that should be nice. And this noise also, if we turn it off, you can see it makes the makes it like more smooth in a way. What else we can do here in the render is to change the pixel format to 32-bit float RGBA, and also if you have a good computer, you can crank the anti-aliases, and it will make it look more nice. Let's play a bit more with the light. That's looking good. Maybe the noise is too much. Something like this. Bloom can be stronger. Alright, so now we have the basic sketch, and we can introduce some new tops to make it look smoother, like if we put a blur over here. I really like this smoother version also. What else we can do is to play with this blur. Let's also color this in yellow. We can insert a pixelate in the image filters, search for pixelate. After the blur, and play around with this. Yeah, so now it's basically me playing around, so you can follow along. This also changes the look, this blur, so let's color it. We can also insert a noise over here. Sorry. Um, Connect both inputs, I believe, and yeah, it also gives like a nice uh, variations. You can animate it. So this noise, you see the difference. Um, yeah, what else you can do is to change the input here to something else like ramp. Just grab the resolution from the noise, set it here, set resolution also only, and if we put it here and reset, nothing happens because of, I think this noise should be like, the amplitude should be a bit higher. So yeah, something like this. So you will see it's coming from right to left, so you can change the type to vertical and it will kind of fall from above. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff you can play and put like more kind of tops inside the feedback loop to kind of let's, yeah, something like this. Yeah, let's change it back to the noise, and you can also see, let's turn this feedback off. You can also see when I increase this noise, it makes it much more like, the texture is like looking much more like a crack texture. Yeah, and of course play with the light to have more shades. Yeah, and this is it basically. Uh, Play around with the feedback loop and make your own movements and variations. It's really fun to play around with this. One more thing I wanted to say is, if you want to change the resolution. Oh, sorry, my cat is like, okay, I'm back. Sorry, my cat was being crazy. So what I was saying, if you want to change the resolution, so for example, I want to make it like 1920, or sorry, like 1920, like this. So we have like kind of like a Instagram reel, but you see like the grid is not in the size. So this is why I put this point transform, and then you can basically put the ratio and scale it up. But then what happens, it's like all kind of like looking a bit weird, the texture. So here you can insert the transform and basically put this same ratio in the X scale, and then it will fit it nicely. So you can see here it's like looking weird, but actually in the points it's like being stretched again. And I think yeah, that's it for this one. So thank you so much, and I hope I will do more tutorials soon, and I will be happy to see how you use this system to make your own stuff. So have a nice day. Bye bye.